You already beat it?
Oh, course.
I didn't even see. Let me see.
Steak day today. I'm feeling a steak sweep. I haven't seen that. Like, you've been flirting with it? These 10 cards, like you get 8 and 2, 7 and 3. Where's the steak sweep at? I think it's today.
I take too many picks, man.
I think it's today. Wow, already 100 people in here. What up, bro?
God damn.
I can never get mistaken for a lane. You know I love it every time she calls
Patrick, how are we? D-Ran, W, Caleb, Theo, Muddy. I feel like Muddy's getting in like OG status. I feel like I see him in here all the time.
I met some different girls all on the road. Yeah, you know how this life goes. I can tell that these niggas
Uzi never fell off.
all of these niggas they try sabotage. I done came out with 100 grand large.
Pretty fucking weird these
I gotta
days.
take a garage.
Nah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. They thought I wouldn't make it far. Yeah. Mama, I did it a star.
Jet Grosif.
Yellow diamond.
Game time, dude. Who said game time? Game time.
Bag out so big like a
Yeah.
Made it from Pluto to Mars. If the lights go off, baby, would you ever change? I was never on my own.
Rams. How are we? Rams.
I'm done.
Steak, you dirty dog.
Big steak. You don't got
Oh, you can
that,
slip
bro.
that in there?
The lights go off, baby, would you
Yeah.
ever
Show
change?
some love to the people.
What the
I
hell?
was never on my high horse from the fame. I can never get mistaken for a lane.
That little like siren in the background, bro, is so nice. Did you hear that?
Like, what? Oh, yeah.
I gotta keep it low. Don't want no one to know. I do better on my own. Bet she still gonna
Surprise
sing my
bag.
song.
It's a true statement right here.
Mulch truck.
Don't believe in love. I don't know enough.
Getting everything set
Let
up.
it even up. Now you know your time come. Let it overlap. Count it up on my thumb. She sat on my lap, and her ass was so dumb. She
Wow.
gon' let me crack.
Beef,
I hope I do
leave.
not come.
Do
If
not
she
let
throw
Beef
it
see
back,
that.
I'm gonna make her viral.
Yeah.
I'm a maniac.
That might take over. Thank you,
They all
Beef.
know I'm psycho.
Jet, let's go, man. Jet Rosa with 5. You guys are
Jet
awesome.
Roasted. Thank you, brother.
They thought I
Pipe
would make
train
it
already.
far.
God damn.
Hope everyone's having a good morning. Pour up a little coffee, roasting up. Whatever you guys are
Yellow
into.
diamond look like March. Yeah. Bag out so big like a park.
Getting up
Yeah.
split lab.
Made it from Pluto to Mars. If the lights go off, baby, would you ever change? I was never on my high horse from the fame. I can never get mistaken for a lane. You know I love it every time she calls my name. It's like Uzi Vert.
Alright, that's a good intro, man. What's going on, everybody? How are we? Well,
Sun's coming.
steak. How you feeling, man? How was the overall trip to New York? Did you enjoy it?
It was great, man. 13 hours of gambling at T Squared.
Yeah, dude. I saw you guys were there a lot longer than we were. That's awesome. It was great meeting you. It was great seeing D-Gen again. I know I met him for a brief time at the Big East tournament last year, but yeah, dude, it felt like we were boys from way back. We've been talking for a minute now, so that was cool.
Yeah, we went to South Carolina together. They don't know.
Yeah, alumni, go Cox, dude.
Genuinely felt like I did.
Almost had him.
Royal, was it like kind of like I guess it was kind of newer for you because you hadn't met anybody. You hadn't met Ethan. You hadn't met D-Gen.
I met D-Gen briefly with you. I was there.
Oh right, at the Big East,
Big
D-Gen.
East, yeah.
But not Ethan or Steak or anybody.
No. I genuinely felt like a South Carolina alum. Just everyone you met there, South Carolina. Had
you meeting Brian before too, Steak, or was that your first time?
Oh, that was my first time.
Yeah, so that's like a big like content creator meetup.
It was a
pretty
big
funny.
Twitter meetup. It was hilarious.
Hopefully we can do that more in the future because that was a great time. So appreciate you guys bringing us out. Great to have you on today. Happy Saturday. It's episode 29 on this bright and early Saturday morning. It's crazy how far in the season we are with college football and even NFL. I mean, we could really say it's half over, can't we? So really cherish these last few weeks. This is when it gets interesting. And let's have some fun. Let's go through the slate and let's have a good time like we always do. Chat, I need you guys participating as usual. I need opinions. I need perspective. And yeah, me and Roy looked at this a little bit. No Beeve, no Jeff today, so you can get completely focused and dialed in. I feel like it's a blessing in disguise sometimes.
I'm gonna try the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Jeff.
Oh, action. Yeah, he's been firing. I'm gonna pull that first lay out of him too. By the way, he's definitely gonna send this one because I think it's like 4 weeks in a row now. So.
Yeah, Beeve's been on fire with the first half shit. He's having a wholesome morning with his girlfriend, so we'll cut him some slack there. He doesn't have to be a DGen awesome. 7 days a week. He can have a break day.
They got the whole day, man. That's
yeah. Steak has more appearances than Taylor Swift. Dude. Well, the DGen family and the Ramble family, we go hand in hand. We have long lost relatives somewhere down the family tree.
That's hilarious.
There he is. Someone asked, "Where's Beeve?" There he is.
Do you believe? I can't even say it. What was it? Beeve leave?
I don't know what you're referencing.
You didn't see it? Somebody said
No.
I instead of I believe, it was I Beeve leave. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome. All right, this is the first game in the slate according to Split Labs. We'll just go through as we usually do chronologically. This is an interesting matchup because we get an SEC opponent. I feel like we saw somewhat of a similar story with Texas A&M a few weeks back with Missouri. Obviously, with them beating the shit out of UMass like they should. I didn't really expect them to get up for that game, but honestly, they did throttle them. Royal was right on that last week. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this team. I think there's major problems defensively for Missouri. I ended up playing Auburn's team total over. I guess you could call it square, but looking back at their last few games, I mean, playing some good SEC opponents, playing at Georgia, Oklahoma, we know defense isn't no slouch over there, and then Arkansas, all going under that number at 22.5 where it's posted today against the Missouri defense where we've seen it susceptible against. I wouldn't call Texas A&M's offense, at least before that game, electric. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the first time Texas A&M had put up 40 points was in that Missouri game. So I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to lean into the fact that SEC programs are different types of football programs. And when it comes to Missouri, yeah, they might be awesome on offense, but defensively, I can't get there. So if Missouri covers its game, it's going to be because they put up 30 plus, in my opinion. So I'm gonna just take Auburn to score some points. 3 touchdowns and a field goal isn't too much to ask for, I think.
Yeah, I like your take, kind of just avoiding Mizzou. This is a team you just can't get a great read on. I mean, so much hype, good QB on paper, right, and star wide receiver, and they just don't put it together for whatever reason. Just don't win these big games or even compete, really, to be honest with you. So I'm a little lost with Mizzou, I'll be honest. Somebody said this line felt a little short. I kind of agree. You'd think Mizzou would be a little heavier of a favorite at home.
Not to mention who Missouri has on deck, boys. Big Alabama.
Yeah, so I definitely would lean Auburn or Auburn team total, like you said. I don't want to back Mizzou here in any way, especially after that. Not even a big win. Like, they're supposed to win that, but that was the first game they really looked dominant, if you will, that everyone thought they were going to be. So I'm all set with Mizzou today.
Agreed. And I mean, Auburn's coming off 3 straight losses as well. So
yeah, it's like I don't want to keep fading them because like they're not great by any means, but they're not dog shit. So they could easily win this game, in my opinion.
Yep.
They might be dog shit, but I did bet them Auburn +4. I believe in Auburn getting it going offensively before I can believe in this Missouri defense. And I don't give a shit about anything they did against UMass last week. I actually think having that game in the middle of your season kind of hurts you when it comes to an intensity level. You go Texas A&M, UMass, fucking Auburn, and Alabama. Like, who wants that type of exhibition game in the middle of your SEC schedule? I actually think that hurts. But I like +4.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, going into that bye for Auburn, someone said it in chat. I mean, getting smacked by UGA is definitely going to feel is definitely going to get you ready for this type of game. On the contrary, Missouri playing UMass, not quite the same story. So I like that we're on the same page with that. That was a later read for me and you, Steak, because I know we sent each other our leans earlier in the week, and neither of us had it, and then we ended up getting on it. So that's cool to see. All right, we'll move on from that game unless anybody else has some thoughts there.
Mizzou's just one of those things you just don't want to touch this year. It's so weird.
Cool. Wake, UConn. This is one that I haven't really looked at too much. I can't lie to you, so we can move on if you guys.
I didn't either.
Good to move on.
I thought UConn being favored was not like weird in any sense. I was just like kind of shocked just because me living or going to school in that area, knowing how bad they are, it's kind of funny to see.
Yeah. This one is Royal. I mean, you can kind of take the floor here. You actually have a plan, no?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Steak says.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Steak says.
I love Miami in this spot. I really do. And reason why, a lot of people seem to love Louisville. Good reason, pretty solid. But who's back in on Miami? I feel like nobody's back in on Miami. Should have lost the last 2 games. Cam Ward, not a Heisman winner anymore, this and that. To me, this is the Miami put themselves on the back on the map type of game. Beating Louisville pretty well on the road, I think is going to put them, again, back on the map, moving forward, kind of into playoff picture, Heisman picture, whatever you want. Everyone seems to kind of be out on them, as I mentioned, past 2 games. Should have lost both, arguably. So, to me, this is the Cam Ward game. This is the Miami game. This is them firing on all cylinders, kind of securing the ACC championship game and moving into the playoffs, in my opinion. So this is a huge win for them. This is a huge game for them. I'm pretty much putting all my marbles in this Miami basket here because they haven't looked great. It's no secret. And to me, I'm taking a risk saying they're going to look great today and beat a good team on the road. So that's what I like it. 4.5 for sure.
Steak.
So the only pushback I'll give you is I do think Miami's more square than you're saying. I wouldn't say I think people are still
That's
in
fair.
on Miami Cam Ward. I mean, bro, every time I get on TikTok or Instagram, I see a different athlete doing Cam Ward celebration. I put people kind of Miami and Cam Ward, but I still like Miami. I would
For a reason.
Yeah, but Louisville, honestly, I think they might be a little overvalued. They've been burning people. And to me, and I've been wrong on this before, but they look like too cute spot to me. Like too cute. It's like take everything away you've seen and just take Louisville because the line maybe seems a little bit short and Louisville's been burning people. I like Miami here. I do think they cover.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it like when I took that Cam Ward Heisman, like after week 1 in Miami to win the ACC. I looked at their schedule and I pretty much circled Louisville and then their game following Florida State as before I knew Florida State was horrible as the potential games that would ruin their perfect season. Miami's baby shit, really? I mean, I don't think their defense is anything, special to talk about, but I think Miami has a lot of weapons on offense, and we know Cam Ward. I mean, we don't really have to get into that, but I mean, this does feel like a too cute Louisville spot. Steak, I tend to agree, but it would be funny if this is the spot after 3 weeks of burning people in sharp spots that Louisville actually handles business here. Because, like you said, Royal, it could go 2 ways. Miami's been getting by the skin of their teeth. I mean, is that going to catch up to them eventually against good comp in Louisville and Florida State? Like, to me, if Miami loses a game this year, it's going to be this week or the following Saturday. So
they ain't losing to Florida State, bro.
I mean, Steak, I was talking to Royal in court. I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Miami's perfect season was ruined by Florida State?
Yeah.
They're just not good enough. That's the problem. It's not good enough to beat Miami. Or anyone, really.
It's 100% fair. All right. Anything else on this game? I mean, I can't.
What do you have?
I'm biased. I have fucking Cam Ward Heisman and Miami to win the ACC. I can't get too much more involved.
I agree with what you said, though, by the way. It does, like, the way we gamble, it lines up perfectly that Louisville burned people, whatever it was, 3 weeks in a row, and then they fucking cover this one for no reason. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing ever.
Right.
That is fair.
Exactly.
And again, like I was saying, Miami just could not be. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think they're elite by any means. Like number 6, it's just because they're undefeated, right?
Like I can totally see this being another close game where they don't cover and they possibly win. Maybe if I do get action, it'll be a live line when Louisville might get up by a touchdown. Or
Yeah.
It could be a good luck, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
Not my favorite. Arizona State, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been a team a lot of people have been doubting, including pretty much every West Virginia fan. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this game. Arizona State's a team I really like, but don't have a play in this game, so you guys can take the floor.
I'll be honest, I didn't even see this game, so go ahead.
So the newsletter has Cincinnati -4.5. Arizona State's starting quarterback is out. Because of that, I can't get on here and recommend Cincinnati to people because I refuse to buy bad news. It's just not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Before the quarterback was out, I love Cincinnati. Now it's just a stay away. I hope Cincinnati covers. They've been pretty good to me this year. I'll be really impressed if Arizona State can pull this off with the backup quarterback.
Cincinnati could be undefeated this year. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like all their losses have been one possession against really good comp. So
yep.
Definitely an undervalued team. What'd you say?
They blew a bad lead to Pitt. I want to say they were up like 28-7 or something.
I'm pretty sure they blew a 20-point lead, yeah, and they lost by 1 point. And then that Texas Tech game, they lost by a field goal. So, I mean, definitely a team that still feels like people aren't catching up with yet. State.
Yeah, like, Arizona State kind of too, right?
Fair, but definitely not as good of a team. You know?
Yeah. I watched all that Utah game last week, and they impressed me. I won't lie.
Like I feel like Cincinnati, if one of those losses went their way, everyone and their mom would be slurping them. But it just feels like nobody is.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we can move on from this game. Scatabo is going to be a high-round draft pick too. I know Beeve was all over Scatabo, I think, for his last game. He's going to be an NFL guy. It's going to be cool to see. All right, UCLA Rutgers. I actually got on a play on this game. I don't know if you know what it is or not. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it first before I get into my play.
I feel like we're probably all on similar sides. I mean, it's hard not to lean Rutgers here. One, it's a good spot after 2 bad losses, and UCLA just kind of sucks. So I would lean Rutgers at home for sure. It's pretty much it for me. I'm sure you're on their team total or something along those lines, or running back rushing yards. But, yeah, I mean, it's Rutgers or nothing for me.
Steak?
I don't have a play in this game. I originally, going into the season, hated Rutgers because I really can't stand this Kaliak Manis kid from Minnesota. I just thought he was awful.
The Greek freak?
But yeah, I don't like him. I can't stand watching that guy play quarterback. But situationally, I started betting Rutgers, and DJM was giving me shit. He's like, bro, you said you didn't like Rutgers. Now you bet them 3 games in a row. I'm sort of back into the fade Rutgers spot. Even here, I would probably take the points if you made me take a play. I'm not going to play this game, but yeah, I'm back out on Kaliak Manis, if I'm saying that right.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, because I was looking at it. I mean, UCLA's rush defense is top 10 in the country, and they've played some really good comp. A lot of Greek, zero freak. That's fair, DGen. UCLA's played a lot of good comp, and their rushing statistics have been fantastic. And initially, I wanted to take Manangai's rushing yards. I don't know what it's set at. I was trying to peep it last night, but I didn't see any line set. I was curious to see what you guys' thoughts on that. Is it kind of like almost like a sell high with UCLA's rush defense? I mean, Rutgers is coming off 2 7-point performances. I love their team total today, personally.
You did bring up a good point. I'm looking at it. I mean,
I feel like this
LSU,
is a very obvious under with how UCLA's defense stacks up against a rush-heavy Rutgers team. Like, this just seems like a game where UCLA's defense, statistically, like, I don't see it being in the top 10 rushing defense at the end of the year. Like, that feels like they're overperforming in terms of, I mean, look at the teams that they've played, too. It's not just some shitty teams. It's Penn State, Oregon, LSU, Indiana. Like, I don't know.
Those are decent enough rushing teams for that to be very impressive.
Right, exactly. And I was almost like kind of shocked to see that. So I wanted to see your guys' thoughts on that. I haven't placed any ticket, but I do like their Rutgers team total. That's the only thing kind of scaring me that I was playing devil's advocate with myself with.
What's the number?
Their team total?
Yeah.
I think it's 23.5. If I'm not mistaken. Let me look.
This is a good one too. I mean, a good point, I guess, is UCLA's got to go across the country here. And
Right.
I
And
think
I've
if I've seen in the past, it's been pretty profitable so far.
a lot of sites are going to say that UCLA didn't cover last week, but that's if you got like just a horrific number. It was at 5.5, 4.5. Lost by 4, but all the sites are going to show you 3.5. But I highly doubt unless you got it like right before kickoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like to buy low. I think a ton of people were on Rutgers team total last week after putting up 7. Put up 7 back to back. I don't think anybody's going to be going back. So I'll be on it for sure. We can move on, boys. Good.
Yeah. Can't talk about that.
Cool. Virginia Clemson.
Dude,
Virginia finally came back down to earth last week, which was sad to see. Do you guys have a play in this game?
I mean,
It was like Clemson is minus 20 every week.
I was gonna say it's hard not to just keep riding Clemson. I mean, it kind of defies like everything we look at, but like they just cover every single week, it feels like, and put up points every single week. I genuinely think ever since that Georgia game, like they just had a chip on their shoulder, and rightfully so. And they're just smashing teams. I mean, granted, they're not the best, but like, I don't know. It's hard not to keep taking them. And I've been saying all year, like Virginia is better than people give them credit for, but they're not great by any means, you know? Like to me, I really don't think they stand a chance versus Clemson here at all. I mean, the total's near 60 again. Like Clemson's probably going to put up points. It's just a matter of Virginia can score as well, which I don't know if they do.
I will kind of counter in saying that I don't think many people assess Virginia as being better than Wake, better than FSU, better than Stanford, better than NC State, but they are. Like this is the best comp.
Definitely Stanford.
This is the best comp Clemson has faced since UGA, which is weird to say if you're talking about Virginia, but I would argue that it is. NC State was obviously overvalued as a team. They were sexy and honestly fucking horrible. And Clemson was 17-point favorites against them. We're getting this number pretty much the same as last week when they played Wake, 21. Now it's 20.5. Is it still 20.5 most places?
I feel like it was 20. No, I feel like flat Clemson was 20.5 all week. Because remember we were saying it kind of felt a little trappy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm running to back Virginia. It just feels like football brain kind of tells me to take Virginia, which is a little scary. But Steak, do you have thoughts here? It's not a strong lean by any means, but
I don't have a strong leader. I don't think I want to fade Clemson. I remember telling you guys I liked Wake Forest. I didn't take it, and I feel like I saved a unit there. Clemson's beating the shit out of these exact type of teams, and I hear what you're saying. Like Virginia is better than those teams, but
yeah, they're not good in the grand scheme of things.
That's like the only angle I could really get behind, but it's nothing that like nothing wants to, or nothing makes me want to jump in front of this train.
20.5 feels a little baitish too. Like, come on, you know Clemson can win this game by 3 touchdowns. You know you want to take Clemson minus 20.5. Like,
that's what I was really asking. Like, is FanDuel hanging at 21.5 or 20.5 for this type of game with Clemson at home? I feel like it's a much different story. Like, you can make an argument. I mean, 21.5. They were 21 last week at Wake. Now they're at home, getting 20.5. I don't know. It just
it's a little baitish because your average better doesn't think Virginia's good. I hear what you guys are saying. But
no, I agree with you.
I'm not taking Virginia. Please don't run to the counter and take Virginia. But it's just I'm just trying to play both sides here.
Clemson does have a bye if that factors anything into what we're talking about here next week.
Clemson has a bye, yeah.
Just beat the shit out of them, head into the bye, and get ready for Louisville. But I don't know. I was also looking at a few props like Maffa. He's had like back-to-back 150 games pretty much. Like this guy is just you can't. These weaker schools can't stop this dude. I mean, he's a fucking tank.
Yeah, he is.
And yeah, I'm just like I don't know. Clemson just seems like like as far as the ACC, we all liked Miami, but Clemson just seems like another fucking level right now.
Yep, they do.
Take Clemson. Yeah. Honestly, call me crazy, but I think that loss to Georgia might have been the best thing ever for them.
Yeah.
Because if they won that game, I mean, that was their Super Bowl, right? I mean, obviously aside from the playoffs, but it was all downhill from there competition-wise. Like, ever since that, especially it was embarrassing, they might run the table easily.
They'd be number 2 in the country right now, probably.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Miami and Clemson play in the ACC.
Yeah, I agree.
That's probably what's going to happen.
And it should be a really good game.
We were looking at the look-ahead line, Steak. I don't know if you were on stream. What would your guess be if they played neutral site, Miami, Clemson, ACC championship? I was blown away by it.
Yeah, have you seen that, by the way? FanDuel has these like hypothetical.
He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen it. Let him guess.
No, I'm saying, have you seen that section?
Oh, I've seen that section. I have not seen Clemson Miami.
Craziest thing ever.
Let him guess. Let him guess.
I'm going Clemson -3.5.
Miami -1.
Oh,
yeah, crazy, right?
That is weird. I want to see if that sticks. I would not have guessed that with the way the two teams are playing.
So.
That's what I thought too. I thought Clemson would be favored too.
Easily.
All right. Wisconsin Northwestern. I'm personally on the under here. I'd love to hear what you guys' thoughts on this game is.
Well, I might have to backtrack a little. I was on the fuck Wisconsin train ever since the first few weeks. They're playing pretty well.
Their offense is fucking stout.
See, this is what I was expecting out of them. Good defense, and yeah, I mean their offense. Obviously, with Van Dyke, I don't even know if he's still in, but I mean, there's a lot of question marks on offense, but they have enough talent to beat and compete with these teams, and now they're finally putting it together. So I don't know. It's tough to back them. I saw Beeve loves them like a lot, but I feel like it's also a good fade spot on Northwestern here. So I kind of get to the table. Like I genuinely don't see Northwestern again coming off 24-37. We know how this team plays. They really can't score. And Wisconsin's defense, I mean, very good unit. So I'm kind of with Beef here, and it looks like Stakes on Wisco as well, the way he's nodding his head over there. I just think they take care of business again, honestly. I might add that, to be honest.
It's funny, Royal, because when we met, I feel like the first thing we talked about was losing money on Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got us back a few recently, especially last week. It was a newsletter play. I think I'm going to go with Northwestern's recent solid play being a little fluky and Wisconsin kind of getting it right. And maybe that's just me telling myself what I want to hear, but that's actually what I believe. I think Wisconsin just crushes them. I really want to take it at 7, but whatever it's at, I think Wisconsin's covering.
See, here's where I'm at, right? Because I was so out on Wisconsin. If I jump back on now, they're going to sell the fuck out of this for me. So, yeah, I don't know.
Don't ruin the party, bro.
Yeah, I might have to sit this one out. I don't want to buck everybody over here, but yeah, I think DGen kind of hit the nail on the head right here. Like Wisconsin looks good, but this is also a tough spot for them, right? I mean, 2 blowouts and Northwest. But it's also it's a bad spot for Northwestern too. So it might just be as easy as Wisconsin, honestly. Like their defense is playing well. Like Steak said, they're not a team that can score on these good teams. So to me, they might just run into a brick wall here.
I'll go ahead and disagree. I don't think it's going to Northwestern is a weird spot for Wisconsin personally. I think maybe for like UCLA going to Northwestern is a weird spot, but for the Wisconsin Badgers, I'd say this is pretty
fair enough. Spot. Mine was, I was saying 42-7 win, 52-6. Like it's just hard to keep backing them was most of my point. But as far as like matchup and game wise, yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't see Northwestern putting up too many points in this game. That's why I ended up taking the under. Crutch actually put me onto it. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't have I just kind of tailed Crutch on
last thing we'll say on this. I mean, Wisconsin doesn't really have to play great here, -8, and the way Northwestern plays, like this could be like a 20-7, 20-3 type of win. Like they don't have to do much here, in my opinion. So that's kind of why I'm like intrigued. And the more I think about it, like I kind of do like Wisconsin, but my biggest fear is I'm out on them all year after week 0, I think, or even week 1, and then come back in. We've seen that too many times, so
that's fair.
All right,
we'll see.
Let's move on from this.
This game is easier than it looks, probably. Yeah, honestly.
Actually, Nebraska, Indiana. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Raiola personally. I know Steak, you're one of the biggest Indiana backers preseason and during the season that I have interacted with. So I'll let you take it from here. Honestly, I feel like you'll have the best kind of read on this game, being an Indiana guy.
So I cashed my Indiana over bet already.
That's crazy. That's absurd.
So I'm very happy about that. I took a little bit of that money and I put it on Indiana to make the playoffs, plus 200.
Wow.
I actually think they're good. I actually think Indiana's good this year, and it's really hard to accept because it's Indiana. but the coach is fucking awesome, and the quarterback's a vet. And I just think they have all the stuff you need to get there. That's all I'm saying. In this spot, I like Indiana, but I'm sure you're not surprised to hear me say that. If you would have told me going into the year when I said, hey, my favorite future is Indiana over 5.5, and you said they're going to be -6.5 against Nebraska, I would have thrown a party. So I'm very hyped. I think they win and cover.
You're never going to catch me back in Rayola against a team like Indiana, especially on the road. Like, I just have trouble thinking that he's going to figure out in this one. The spread is wrong listed. If anyone's curious, by the way, it's 6.5. But I'm with you, Royal. Do you have anything on this? I didn't end up taking a bet. I feel like Indiana would be a solid MLP piece if you don't want to lay the 6.5. I will say them not laying 7 isn't weird to me. I think this spread makes sense. But I would be more comfortable taking their money line personally.
No, I struggle reading this Indiana team. I mean, it seems like they just blow somebody out every week. But I don't want to get in the way of them, to be honest with you. I really don't. Northwestern, Maryland. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is their test in a while, if you will. I guess Northwestern, but
yeah, I mean, they've played.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, they've looked good and did what they're supposed to do. So it's like, can't really take anything away from them. But feels like Nebraska is kind of like falling, if that makes sense. Like, they were on top of the world after that Colorado win, and then kind of downhill from there, if you will. So I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I just don't know. I don't know how to back Indiana. Like, they just win and cover every week. So I don't really want to get involved.
That's not to jump on the train tracks.
Yeah, right. I kind of think Nebraska is just who they are. I don't think they're bad or good. I just think when you're in Nebraska and then you got this kid making all the headlines because he acts like Pat Mahomes and Matt Rule's there, and every year Nebraska is back. So going 8-4 or whatever they might do this year, fans still won't be happy. But I don't think they're bad or good, to be honest. I just think they're kind of mid.
Yeah,
I agree.
Could be a year away type of situation in the Rayola too. You know.
Definitely. Yeah, and that was kind of my point, right?
Expectations.
After the Colorado one, it seems like, wow, like Nebraska could be one of these big programs moving forward in the season, like they used to be. It could be this big time program with this QB.
It's the same thing.
And then
it's the same story
like the
with
Illinois
Nico,
loss
man.
was kind of you
throw these hype freshmen in these big time environments, and you expect them to just be amazing off the get go. It's just not how it works in most situations. Like no matter what. I mean, look at Nico's situation. He's on one of the best teams in the SEC, and he still finds ways to struggle. It's just growing pains of being a freshman quarterback. So I wouldn't trust Nebraska to get it done on the road. But
look at that. Sorry,
you never know.
That's crazy.
That.
What?
Nebraska is the only team in the country to not give up a rushing touchdown. So I can tell you, Indiana's running one today.
That's fair.
Rayola is weird.
Good little nugget.
The last thing I'll say on that is, if you're Rayola, right? Like, why? I feel like playing into this Mahomes thing it's just getting weird, right? Like, if you're supposed to be this big time QB prospect, why would you do that? I don't know. Like, you would want to build your own brand.
Man. I would not do that personally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I genuinely can't wrap my head around it. Like, I get he's getting like views, if you will, but it's like it's also weird, and like I feel like you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot almost.
I got Beeves first half play. I'm gonna show it on screen real quick.
Yeah, I feel like it's not getting weird. It's been weird.
Right. That's what. Yeah. I remember I saw this in the spring. I saw him in like the spring game, and people were like, "This is literally like a Mahomes clone." Like, not that he's that good. It's just the way he plays, the way he dresses, the haircut, the number, the sleeve, everything. It's just like, dude, if you're this big QB, like, be yourself, like, build your own brand. That's my take. Like, it's just, and he keeps playing into it too. He does like more and more every week, and it's just like it's fucking weird.
All right, let's lock this in as a group.
Is Rutgers in here, dude? Every fucking week, man. Fuck you, Beef.
I mean, I love 3 out of 4. I'll say that.
Which one don't you like? Wake Forest?
I don't love Rutgers -180. I'll be honest, but I'm not saying don't take it. I'm just saying it's not my favorite. The other 3 I love.
Let's see.
We can't bet it anyway. When I like the spot for Rutgers, I have to fucking have my buddy in New York place it for me. Do you know?
You can't bet Rutgers.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I'm offshore, man. Come on, catch up.
You got to let me in Florida if you ever need it.
Catch up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just a bot.
All right, we got time to lock this in, so it's not I won't waste too much time with it. Beef, today's your day.
That's it.
All right.
Sorry, what was it? Wisco, Wake Forest. What was the last one aside from Rutgers?
Wisco, Wake.
Indiana.
Yep,
Indiana.
Yep. All right, South Carolina, Oklahoma. Obviously, we all know how South Carolina, Alabama played out. So we were sweating it out in T-squared, which was honestly one of the more electric sweats of recent memory. Steak, I can't lie. That was pretty awesome. We had the whole staff involved. The waitresses were even emotionally involved at one point. What were your emotions with that fat of a money line ticket in your pocket? I thought we had it when we recovered that onside kick. It
was nice that I had the plus 21 for a unit to kind of like just playing with house money for the money line. Obviously, fucking meet up with the boys, hitting the South Carolina money line would have been electric.
Yeah,
I never fully believed until they recovered that onside kick, and then I'm like, bro, this shit is happening.
It felt like the roof was coming in, dude. Like
the Nick Harbor catch was insane.
So awesome, man. The over the shoulder, unbelievable. Yeah,
that was my thoughts exactly, right? They didn't get the 2-point conversion. That was wide open, multiple receivers, and I was like, oh, great, fuck. Then they get the onside. I was like, oh my god, it's happening. Like this is just meant to be.
It was 3 plays that lost them the game. It was the wide open touchdown in the end zone that they missed, that missed field goal, and that fumble. I don't remember. Was the fumble at the end of the second quarter or beginning of the third?
Yeah,
when they were in the red zone. Those 3 plays lost them the game. They could have been up by 2 scores. I mean, crazy. But which leads us to this game. And on the flip side, Oklahoma looked like absolute Pee Wee Herman type football team. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, it feels like it screams Oklahoma. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you guys like. I like the under as well, but
man, it's tough because Oklahoma's obviously not great, but I don't think they're that bad. I think Texas is just that good.
Yeah,
I don't think Oklahoma's great, but I just feel like South Carolina is the better team here. I really do. I don't know if I'm going to get involved, but.
And we did see a line flip as well. It opened Oklahoma favorite. Yeah. Now it's flipped to South Carolina -1. It's tough. Like my contrarian brain tells me it's Oklahoma with how good South Carolina looked against Alabama, but football brain tells me it's South Carolina all day.
Yeah,
Lenore Sellers was coming off an injury in that last game. He's still getting right. Oklahoma's defense has been pretty much the only highlight, but that offense is, I mean, we were talking about it looks fucking broken. So what are your thoughts, Steak? You getting with anything?
Immediately, like Tuesday, I immediately was like, oh, I think I love Oklahoma. Look how gross that is after everybody watched the Red River Shootout. That's like a top 3 college football rivalry. Yeah. And they just got embarrassed. And they looked like completely incapable on offense. And then on the other side, you got South Carolina, who should have beat LSU, beat Kentucky, could have beat Bama, and everybody watches those games too. And I was thinking like, God damn, like Oklahoma's favored. I've kind of walked it back a little since then because it is Oklahoma. And I feel like not for some reason, but Oklahoma's going to get the respect. They're top 10 football program of the last 20 years, maybe higher.
Yeah.
And they're always probably going to get this line respect at home. Maybe even some people are expecting a bounce back here after the Texas game. You get embarrassed by your rivals. Maybe it's a nut check game. But yeah, everything my football eyes have seen is that South Carolina is better than Oklahoma. And so I don't really want to fuck with it because my last thing I'll say is I think Brent Venables is one of the worst fitted coaches in college football. Brent Venables in Oklahoma is crazy to me. I think that's a terrible fit, and I don't think it's going to last very long. I know it probably won't happen this season because it can. I heard his buyout's astronomical, but at some point next year, I think Brent Venables gets fired by the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, if this season is going or ends the same way that it started, I mean, I don't see how you don't make a change. It's been, I mean, in terms of expectations, I don't think they even have reached halfway to what they thought they were going to be this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I ended up taking the under, just seeing how South Carolina, I mean, the amount of chances that Alabama gave them on offense, like I felt like every time South Carolina scored, it wasn't really them driving down the field. It was more them Alabama making mistakes, that fourth down. I think South Carolina's offense kind of comes down to earth a little bit. Oklahoma can figure it out on offense, but I just do not see them putting up more than 24 points. And I could be wrong there, but with South Carolina coming off such a good game against Alabama, I just see points coming at kind of a premium in this one.
Is it Hawkins again? I assume yes.
For Oklahoma?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I saw they had Arnold warming up last game at some point. I wasn't sure if they're going to switch back, but
it could be a little see how this guy does. If he plays like shit, bring in the other guy, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like they're figuring it all out. Yeah. I mean, never a good game plan.
I'm good on that.
All right. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. So originally I wanted to take Georgia Tech team total under, but their starting quarterback is ruled out. They moved from 10 to 14 point underdogs. Their team total was at 19.5, 20.5 when I got it at. I think it's moved down to 16.5, 17.5 most spots. Should I be scared? Should I be off of it at this point with their QB being ruled out, or is it just a kind of a no-brainer Notre Dame brick wall kind of defensive performance in your guys' eyes? Because that's what I saw previous to their QB being ruled out.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to – I mean, that just makes the read all the much better on paper. Like, this defense is fucking elite. Like, they got talent every single position. That secondary is crazy. So, I mean – I get what you're saying. It's a little nervous now. Like, could the backup shock the world potentially? But I mean, I think that Notre Dame defense is that good, to be honest.
Well, I just kind of see it as, I mean, Georgia Tech coming off playing one of the worst defenses in FBS, playing UNC, and then having to play Notre Dame is just kind of like a gut check.
Agreed.
But that was kind of my read into it. Steak, do you have anything?
I took the over. I think it's a kind of square over. But man, and maybe you're making me rethink it a little bit, because maybe I just want to keep backing this Notre Dame offense. But I do think Riley Leonard has figured it out after a pretty bad start. I think the offense has figured it out as much as the defense, to be honest. And I guess if it's a square over, I'm on a square over. I don't think I'm going to go back to Notre Dame team total over, because I did that last week. I don't think I'm getting that again. Yeah, I took the over, but mostly because I think Notre Dame's offense keeps rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even post it now with how drastically the numbers changed, but I feel like if this game does go over, it's going to be more so Notre Dame than it is.
Me too.
It is Georgia Tech, so I feel like even both those could hit. Georgia Tech.
I'm looking here. This is Notre Dame's highest total of the year, and that could be what DJ's saying. I mean, if they're missing five, is it 5 starters on defense or just in general? He said their best defensive players. I wonder which one that is, because I would go back and forth with how many they have. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of alarming to me, to be honest, because Georgia Tech's defense is pretty solid. And I mean, I don't know. I just didn't think this would be near the 50s, I guess.
That's fair.
I kind of like your read, Steak, to be honest. I agree. I was kind of defending Riley Leonard all year. Like, not that he's as good as Tebow in college, but to me, he reminds me of the way he plays. He can throw a little bit. No, I mean, he does. He's a giant QB. He can run. He's tough. Like, I mean, I just think he was better than people give him credit for. And I think you're right. I think he's figuring it out, and the offense is rolling.
Right. Notre Dame defensive touchdown, DJen, if you're still here. That's what we should take.
Tebow.
How is that insane, man? He plays exactly like him.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right, bet. Michigan.
Does he not play exactly like him? I don't see how that's crazy.
I mean, I don't look at Riley Leonard and think fucking Tim Tebow.
He's not gonna light it up with 300 yards. He's gonna run read option, and yeah, exactly. I'm not saying he's as good as him or the face of college football. He's not gonna beat you in the air. He's not gonna read a defense perfectly, but he's gonna lower his shoulder and run your ass over when he has to.
That's fair. Josh Allen more than
got it.
Tebow.
All right, good streak.
Dude, Josh Allen at Wyoming is some of the coldest photos, man. Those jerseys.
See, this is where I disagree, because Josh Allen can light you up for 300 yards.
Did you look into this game, bro? Because I really like Michigan.
Yeah, I do. I think we're actually on opposite sides here.
You like Illinois?
Like, I lean them, but
tell me why. Please tell me why you like Illinois.
Listen,
Steak doesn't like Michigan either.
I think Michigan is going to struggle big time here, and that's I'm with you. I don't understand this line either. I really don't. I think Illinois can score and move the ball on Michigan's defense better than Michigan is going to move the ball in Illinois. They have a QB, they have a good offense. I'm not saying they're going to light up Michigan, but I can't get behind Michigan's offense right now. I can't. And Illinois' defense is solid enough to where I want to back them. I don't understand the line. I'm not defending that at all. Like 4.5 now is, to me, it's crazy in my eyes. On the road, especially.
I mean, I think getting Michigan off a bye and off a loss with Illinois getting 4.5 at home is nuts. I mean, you just saw Michigan be on the road to Washington and be 1.5 point dogs, and now they're 4.5 point favorites at Illinois. Like,
yeah, I think it's a good spot for Illinois,
Michigan.
Though.
Like the line to me screams Michigan.
That's why I haven't pulled the trigger,
especially with a team that has been burning betters all year this year, and Illinois has been an ATS darling. I gotta take Michigan in the spot. I just have to.
I agree, but bad loss to Penn State. Sure, they covered, but they looked fucking terrible. Purdue, they almost just lost in overtime. Like they haven't looked great themselves.
But I don't think anybody thinks Michigan is good. Yeah, this line is insane. Like, exactly, Tyler.
Someone else was saying it too. Yeah, aloha.
I
agree. Winning. That's why I'm not getting involved.
Michigan fans are out. I mean,
listen, yeah,
that's story. You've seen that story before. I mean, this just feels like Illinois gets smacked in the mouth. It really does to me. I've never been sold on this Illinois team. I was baffled when they covered against Penn State. I feel like Penn State's doing the opposite of what they usually do and just not covering spreads on purpose at this point. Dude, but
one thing
I'm not sold on this Illinois team, and I feel like this is a perfect spot to kind of sell high on them.
The other thing I forgot to bring up is Michigan
ranked,
play next week's.
Michigan State. I mean, it's not really a look ahead, but I guess for Michigan State, you could
kind
say
of.
it is.
Yeah, like ranking wise and big game wise, no, but that rivalry is important.
Michigan's looking at Oregon, bro. They're not looking at Michigan State.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's tough. This is a tough fucking game. My thing is I'm not gonna bet Michigan off of a weird line. We've seen that burn. I mean, me plenty of times. So I might just stay off because I lean Illinois in the spot. I think they can compete and win. But yeah, I think 4.5 is crazy unless I'm missing something here.
I think you both have good points. I will say this. I just can't get past the fact that I think Michigan's just Michigan, and it's the Michigan name. And so when I see 4.5, like I agree with MJ. If you watch football this year, either team, it's insane that Michigan would be minus 4.5. But it is still the University of Michigan, the defending champs, and it is still Illinois.
I'll counter with that with their last game against Washington. Then why weren't they getting that Michigan respect against Washington on the road?
It's weird, but I think Washington gets more respect than Illinois does.
Do you think?
Oh, yeah.
See, I disagree with that. I think if you ask the average person on the street, they would say Illinois is far better than Washington is. I would argue.
Think they get more line respect?
I mean, it's yes, because look at no, not Illinois gets more line respect. Obviously, that last game against Washington, I thought was crazy. Looking back, that line was nuts. The fact that Washington was favored. Granted, they won, but
there's a little more emotions in that.
I would agree. I would agree if Michigan was favored in that last game as well.
My only fear for you, that's why I responded when you sent Michigan. I said ballsy. My only fear is like you're going to be sitting there and this fucking team that looks like they didn't know the forward pass was invented. It's going to be in a dogfight with Illinois. You're going to be like, I can't believe I bet on Michigan because they're so bad passing.
That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, if they roll, if they roll, be rushing the ball. Everybody knows that. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Cool. All right, let's move on. Houston, Kansas. Anything in this game, boys? I don't have anything here.
Fuck Houston. I'll say that. Team just fucking sucks, but no. I've made it a point not to get involved with that team. I should have on that primetime game because that's just how that shit goes in college, but yeah, no.
Neither of these teams. You shouldn't be betting on either of these teams.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, good point.
Agreed.
Kansas is up there for sure.
Agreed.
What did Houston do last week, though? They beat TCU outright, or was that 2 weeks ago?
It's 2 weeks. I think they had a bye.
So I will mention, because that's what we're doing here, it does seem like a lot of respect for Kansas with Houston coming off that win. I think Kansas is 0-7 against the spread. Does that sound right?
Yep, 0-6.
0-6. So who the
They're
fuck?
coming off. They're coming off a bye as well. So
Gross. The grossest bet here is Kansas. Not saying anyone should go take.
but at the same time, you're just fading Houston. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's move on from this game.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean,
I'm so excited just to watch this game.
you know what? It's interesting because I haven't taken a bet in this game yet, but I just want to talk it out because earlier in the week, to me, the line was all Bama. But the more I'm kind of thinking about it, it feels like people are starting to, I guess, clock out on Nico in terms of him being the Heisman or him being this elite quarterback, at least this year. I could be wrong, but it kind of feels like people are starting to check out on him. Am I wrong in saying that?
Sort of. I think what you said earlier
I'm just
was
trying
that
to play devil's advocate because I
no.
think I definitely lean Bama in this spot.
I'm saying I don't think anyone thinks he sucks by any means. It's just he might not be the top 3 QB in the nation right now, which he was kind of getting. I think it's just like you said, he's a year away. I think that's kind of the general idea, if you will.
Yeah, you should get into that spot, bro.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Yeah, you should talk about it.
Oh, I thought you said like bet on it. Yeah. Yeah, I fucking love Miller on this game. I mean, didn't really look great necessarily versus South Carolina. I mean, that offense was not what we usually see out of them, in my opinion. And to me, Tennessee, we know their defense is great. That D-line is fucking disgusting. I think he's going to get flushed out. And I think this is the Milroe game. I'll just say that. I think he's going to, if he wasn't out of the Heisman race, I think this would kind of put him in the front running, if you will. But unfortunately, I think he's out. But yeah, Bama's pissed. Someone just hit the nail on the head. They looked bad versus South Carolina. And I think Milroe is that type of QB and player to bounce back and show that he's arguably going to be the number 1 pick when he declares. And it's a good matchup, too. The only thing I'm worried about, again, is college football. Obviously, when he gets back, it's negative rushing yards.
14 months.
The one thing that I'm a little nervous about. But, again, I think he's too good. I think he's going to throw it away instead of getting sacked. And I think he's going to make a ton of plays. So,
dude, and go and talk about what he's done the last few weeks and what his line set up.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know how many sacks he took, but it was like 30 and like 17 yards, and he's at 51 now. I got 46. Let me see.
I like that.
I got 48 and a half.
I do too. I'm telling you.
I was going to say, I lean Bama in this one. I just think they're too good. I think, MJ, like you said earlier, I think Tennessee and Nico's a year away. Cute home dog. I think Bama rolls. I think Milroe kind of has a similar game like he did in Georgia. Just makes all the plays he needs to, and just fucking rolls.
That's how I'm a back Bama. I'm gonna just tell you on that Jalen rush yards. I like that.
Yeah, like I said, the one thing you got to worry about is the sacks, but I think he's good enough to not get sacked.
So, just going back to last week, we kind of had a lot of these type of games. So you got Penn State at USC. USC's at home, but everyone agrees Penn State's the better team. USC covers. They kind of controlled the whole game, but they blew it. Then you got Ole Miss at LSU. Everyone agrees Ole Miss is the better team, but LSU's at home. LSU wins outright. Most people thought Ohio State's better than Oregon. They're 3-point dogs at home. They win outright. And now here you are again. Alabama -3. Tennessee's at home. Most people agree Alabama's the better team, but Alabama could have lost to South Carolina and did lose to Vanderbilt in their last 2 games. So by no means have they been world beaters. I don't think you're getting the cute home dogs again. I don't think they're going to keep printing like that. And I agree with what you said about Nico, but I still think not enough people have watched Nico yet because he hasn't had this game yet. And I think there's going to be these – I think Tennessee's a get cute spot. I'm going to be honest with you. After what you saw last week with Oregon, LSU winning and USC covering, I think Tennessee's a get cute spot. I really like
– think about that, honestly.
I really like Alabama. I already punched it in. I don't think I could be talked off. I really, really like
Alabama.
With you.
That's a good point. That's a great point on last week. I did not even think about that angle. So I love everything you said on that. Royal, anything else on this game?
No, I'm completely with him. I have the same exact read. I liked Bama early, and I'm like you said, I'm not going to let anyone talk me off it. You're going to hear a lot of stats that can argue Tennessee, but to me, I just think Bam is better. I think this is a good spot for them. That's the opening line, 3.5. Yeah, no, I like Bama here. I think Tennessee is, like you said, a year away.
What book to use for college props? I actually live in New Jersey. I live in Hoboken.
Yeah, New York, you can't. It sucks.
All right, let's move on. NC State, Cal.
Just move on, man.
NC State, man. State, can we agree to just stop betting on NC State? Can we just as a group come together and just say fuck this team?
Oh, I bet on NC State.
Yeah, I bet NC State last week with you, dude.
Oh, this week.
No, you didn't. Stop.
I did, but just you should cut this out of. No one should hear me say that. I like pain, and I can't give up for some reason. So I just fucking took NC State again, but I don't even want to give a reason. There's no reasoning other than that I hate people.
Hey, we'll say it's oh wait, fuck. Did Cal play last week?
Yeah.
Oh, right, never mind.
Yeah, they're coming off.
Cal's been balling.
Yeah, they've been
I was
playing.
gonna say, yeah, it's you can argue it's a sell high spot on Cal, but NC State's so funny.
Not much lower of a buy low for NC State.
Yeah. No, there's no buying low on this team.
No. All right, we can move on from this game. Concepcion is really falling off, huh?
Just bad QB play. It's not his fault.
Anything here? I got nothing here.
No.
They should make all Hawaii games at midnight.
Yeah.
So nobody watches them. Colorado, Arizona. This is an interesting one for sure. Colorado, I mean, we've been talking about it, and I've been taking advantage. It feels like this year is the complete opposite of last year. Last year they had a ton of hype and weren't covering. Now this year they have no hype and they're covering fucking 4 games in a row, right? You guys have any kind of read? I really don't tend to back Colorado or fade them. I think they're a really tough team to read in terms of market. But you guys can feel free to convince me otherwise.
Okay. I think it might be Arizona. So if I have this correctly, it's Arizona's homecoming. And they got all sorts of people showing up for this game. And I almost feel like we've gotten, and you guys can feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm just going to say it. I almost feel like we've gotten back to the hype level of last year for Colorado with how decent they've looked. Even the games they lose, they're making them fun, which is kind of what they do. That Kansas State game was awesome. I just feel like who's not pressing Colorado on the plus here, money line, with the way Arizona's been playing. It's hard. It's hard for me to get away from liking Arizona here.
God.
I kind of agree, and I've been debating back and forth on taking a Travis Hunter prop. So I mean to change sidewise, but it kind of plays into my point is I think Arizona leads this game, potentially wins, and I think Colorado's gonna be trailing. I liked Hunter last week, and he kind of sold, so I'm kind of happy I sat that one out. I might jump back in now. I don't know if you guys have any read, but my read is I think him and McMillan kind of just put on a show tonight. I mean, like you said, it's homecoming, home game. I think Arizona's at least going to be firing.
You know, Hunter is going to want to make a statement if McMillan is going to be playing some good ball, a guy who hasn't had a touchdown in a while. You know, Travis Hunter wants to match that kind of performance. I don't hate that narrative.
And like I said, I think they're trailing too and playing from behind. Like Steak said, he likes Arizona, which I agree. So yeah.
I'm telling you this too. You can make fun of me for saying this about an Arizona game, but the game's going to be lit. There's going to be a lot of people there. It might be one of the fucking busiest Arizona games ever. And Travis Hunter thrives in those type of games, I feel like.
Dude, please take it, bro, because you're going to be beating yourself when he fucking gets 150 plus.
Like I said, I liked him last week versus Kansas State. I thought it was a similar spot.
What's his line at?
26 yards.
80-something? 100? Yeah, take it.
He's going nuts.
Yeah, take it.
What do you have last week, bro?
26, I think. Let me see.
And 70 before
26,
that.
And then, 89 versus UCF. Like I said, I liked it last week. I think we were out all day, so I think I just forgot. But, I mean, Kansas State obviously better defensively, so.
Didn't play full snaps, but yes. Didn't all the receivers get hurt last week? Did other guys other than Hunter last week get hurt as well? that aren't playing? Yeah, I know
I
Hunter did. Right?
didn't know that.
I didn't know other receivers did. Who else got hurt?
I like that even more. Obviously, I hope he's all right. I was gonna say probably Horn, but to me, it's like we see this all the time in kind of NFL and NBA, right? Like people are kind of scared to take a player first game back, and then, or you hear they're like NBA, you see it all the time. Guy's a game time decision. Like it's usually like he's feeling sick, comes out, has a fucking career night. Like happens all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Horn and Amarian Miller got hurt, so Horn's back. Okay. So just Amarian Miller. So just more target share for Hunter. It's not a bad look.
Yeah, I think again, my read is it's him and McMillan are going to put on a show.
I saw someone say that the total looks low. Does anyone agree with that? I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah?
I think on the lower side, yeah.
Yeah?
I think it should be in the 60s, yeah.
You'd expect points from these two teams for sure. What was the score of this Kansas State-Colorado game? 34, 31 or something like that?
Yeah, 31-28. But, I mean, just looking at their other totals, I mean, they usually set in this, like, 55 to 60 range. Like, their highest total this year has been 60 against UCF. I'm talking Colorado. I don't know. It didn't jump off the page at me, but Quale Conley with rushing yards could be. That's a sick ass first name. I'll tell you that. I didn't know his first name was Quale. All right, let's move on. Baylor, Texas Tech. I think this is a sneaky spot for Baylor, personally. I mean, Texas Tech, I feel like, has been a team that's been overperforming of late. And, I mean, you look at Baylor, I mean, coming off 3 losses, but it's not just 3 losses. It's 3 losses to really good comp. I mean, Iowa State is proving to be a really fucking good team. BYU, really good fucking team. And
you see that game last night, by the way?
Yeah, that was crazy.
BYU?
That game was fucking nuts.
Absurd.
They can't lose. They actually cannot fucking lose.
In Colorado, at Colorado. So, like, in OT. So, I think this Baylor team is a bit undervalued in terms of what people think of them. And I think Texas Tech is a bit overvalued. So I'm going to buy low on Baylor and sell high on Texas Tech. Take Baylor +6. I really like the spot for them.
Good sell job. It's already on my card.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that. I'm with you. I like Baylor a lot. I kind of think Texas Tech's a little fraudulent. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I just don't think they're that good. I think Baylor's a better team.
Baylor live dog, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah. I think they have a huge possibility of winning outright for sure. USC, Maryland. This is a game where, honestly, Steak, I lean Maryland, but I'm off of it. I think it's a little too cheeky. I could be wrong, but it just feels like kind of a similar spot with it feels like Louisville versus SMU a bit. Where Louisville was that sharp spot, and it almost feels a little too comfy cozy. I could be wrong in saying that, but getting 7.5 at home, I know Maryland's no team that people think is, any kind of competition compared to USC, but something about it is just rubbing me the wrong way. So I ended up getting off it. By no means do I lean USC. I still lean Maryland, but something about this game is just giving me the EBGBs. So I'm off of it, but I'd love to hear kind of what your read was on its Steak.
So it didn't make my card either. Initially, kind of same as Oklahoma. I did think, wow, Maryland's coming off that terrible loss against Northwestern as 11-point favorites, where they didn't just lose outright; they got dog walked by a team that people said literally couldn't score, and they scored all over them. And then you got USC. Like USC played a massive game against Penn State, where everyone watched it and thought, like, wow, USC, they blew that game, but they're pretty decent. Miller Moss always looks good, and I feel like people are kind of high on USC. That was my initial lean. But realistically, it makes no sense for me, a guy with a USC over 7.5 wins ticket, who doesn't like Maryland, who never liked Maryland, to come in here and bet Maryland here. And I agree with you. It's actually a lot of points. Like, you could argue, given the fact that these teams were kind of evenly ranked going into the season, that this is a lot of respect for USC, right? On the road, 7.5-point favorites.
It'd be different if USC won that game against Penn State too. It'd be
then
so
the
much
hype
different.
would be high.
Right. It'd be so much different. The fact that they covered doesn't move the needle for me as much as an outright win against PSU would have. And for that reason, I feel like this is almost too obvious of a letdown spot versus Maryland, who football brain wise should not be competitive in this game. It's going to be USC beating themselves if Maryland covers this game, more so than Maryland beating them. So Yeah, I'm off of it personally as
The
well.
only thing I'll add is Maryland does seem to have their issues seem to come from being big favorites. They lost outright to Michigan State as 9-point favorites and outright to Northwestern. So maybe they're one of those teams that shows up as an underdog. I'm not saying bet it, but that's the only pushback I can give.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, if you're somewhat of like a contrarian bettor, I can see why you like Maryland. I mean, not covering in 3 straight weeks and then getting USC off playing a great game against Penn State. I definitely see the angle, but again, just something I'm not too comfortable with. Royal, do you have anything before we move on?
I was gonna say, how much did that Miller Moss prop hurt?
Yeah, that Miller Moss prop hurt a lot.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean,
no,
you
he's
might have
gonna
been
throw-
a week early.
yeah,
Just
his
look
line's
at
at
the last.
280 something now. I know.
I
He's-
mean, Michigan, Wisco, Minnesota, Penn State. I
know.
mean, this might be a USC. Like, I think they're gonna air raid the fuck out of Maryland. I was looking for a receiver to take. Steak. I don't know if you know much about like USC's personnel on offense, but like I couldn't find out. Like, obviously I've seen them, right? I know Zachariah Branch, I know Lane, I know Hudson, I think, but like I don't know who the guy is to take. I kind of want to just take Branch just because it's at like 34.5, and that's one catch for him most times, but he's really not a receiver, so I might just take Moss. I don't know. But to me, they've played 4 pretty great defenses, to be honest. Like Minnesota, I feel like doesn't really get the credit, but they're a good defensive team. Same with Wisco.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Michigan and Penn State. So
Yeah.
I think USC moves the ball well here. And I did see this thing's a little nerve-wracking because, I mean, it's been printing. But, I mean, to me, this is a USC must-win game, and I think they kind of put on a show here.
Maybe it's go back to Miller Moss after he burned us, MJ.
That's what I'm just thinking.
Oh, man.
That was brutal.
We'll see. I mean, I got 2. I got 5 plays right now. That's a number I like, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We got time. It's the 4 p.m. game. We'll see.
True.
I do like it, though. I mean, I think he's due for a 300-yard game.
God, don't make me do it, man. Don't make me do it.
Which one, McKiffin? Moss or Branch? Which one?
For me, I think
Yeah, we can move on. Moss, you said? Yeah, just not even play. I agree, yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you have fun with that, bro. It'll hit. It'll hit.
Yeah, it's hitting.
All right, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. This is just tough. I mean, Mississippi State is just a doormat of the SEC. What do you guys think? I mean, I can't really give you a real lean in this game. You could make an argument that this spread is a little short, but I can't really get there with anything personally.
Let me know what you guys think, because I could be on my tinfoil hat here, but I kind of like A&M. Last time we saw them, they throttled Mizzou. To me, Mizzou's just not that good. It's really not that impressive. I get A&M looked pretty good.
Right.
But I mean, Mississippi State, like you said, they fucking suck. And they've been scoring, I mean, aside from Texas, 28 versus Florida, 31 versus Georgia. They just looked great against Georgia. I kind of think this is Texas A&M finding their stride. I think they might smack them here, like big time on
Mississippi
the
State
road.
team total under is what you're getting at?
That's where I thought you were going with that, but I think this could be Texas A&M hitting their stride, and again, similar to Clemson, right? That terrible loss versus Notre Dame week 1.
I hate it.
They had so much hype all year, off-season darling. Again, everyone's out on them after one bad loss.
The real question is, if you think Mississippi State covers this game, is it going to be them putting up points, or is it just going to be kind of like a nasty slugfest type of game?
Yeah. It's tough to say, because I was going to say I think A&M's defense is too good, but then you would argue Georgia's defense, right? But call me crazy, but Georgia's defense isn't that good. It's really, obviously it's good in the grand scheme of things, but they easily have a top 3 defense every year, if not the best, and that's just not the case this year.
Right.
Simply not the case.
Steak?
It's an interesting spot for both teams. It's interesting for Texas A&M because obviously they go home and play LSU next week. It's interesting for Mississippi State because it probably, you could argue, this is the most brutal 3-game stretch in college football history. Texas, Georgia, Texas A&M. That's insane. I thought that this line was short initially. I did lean Mississippi State. But man, this team, I mean, just imagine if you're on Mississippi State getting ready 3 weeks in a row, or I don't know if they had a bye, but it feels like 3 weeks in a row to play Texas, Georgia, and Texas A&M. you just got to be fucking exhausted. They might be cooked. So I'm not going to try to talk you off Texas A&M, but I'll say that I did initially and still do kind of believe the line's up short.
Do you think them playing LSU next week has a factor in that? A&M? Because Mississippi State's obviously out of conference. Like, they're not doing anything.
I can't get over the fact that Mississippi State lost to Toledo.
Badly, too.
Dude, Toledo is good, man. Don't trip on Toledo.
Yeah, they're pretty good, but weren't they like 35-point dogs to Georgia and Texas?
Yeah.
And now they're 18.5? Like 37 to 18.5.
We're on the road.
Yeah, I get that.
But even still, I mean, yeah, no.
You can make an argument.
I see what you're saying, honestly. I do see what you're saying.
I really don't want to talk you off.
They covered both, though. You know?
Yeah, they covered both, and that could factor in as well. You're right.
That's good.
They lost.
I don't think A&M can look ahead. I mean, obviously they know they're probably going to win this game. It's just a matter of how much in their heads. But in the SEC, with how loaded it is, you really can't look ahead. Like, you got to take care of the bottom of the barrel there. And I get it's LSU. I understand the spot, but they got to take care of business here. Like, they need to win, and they need dominant wins, in my opinion, to like make some noise in the playoffs, or get into the playoffs, if you will.
If Jimbo Fisher was still here, I would have taken out a loan to bet Mississippi State.
Do
you like Mississippi State, Caleb? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe he's a fan.
Or he's just saying it's big game.
I
don't know. I could just be reaching here, but kind of think A&M's cheeky. I see these splits are pretty lopsided. I mean, I'm looking on VSiN, and where was it? It's a little more even on VSiN, which kind of makes me it feels a little better. But yeah, this is the other thing. I mean, how many people are out on this guy? I'm not saying he's elite by any means, but
horrible start to the year. Yeah,
that's my point. I think Texas A&M is hitting that stride.
Cool. I think the next game is Arkansas, right? Or
that's sick, Caleb.
This is so. I thought Arkansas would be popular in this game, but with LSU coming off that upset as well. I mean, both these teams are coming off pretty big upsets. Arkansas off Tennessee, LSU off Ole Miss. But to me, I think people are more convinced on LSU than they are Arkansas. Feels like more of the talk with that Arkansas-Tennessee game was Nico and Tennessee making mistakes than it was Arkansas playing good football and controlling possession and making, honestly, Tennessee play a game that they weren't comfortable in playing. They ran the ball a shit ton. Taylor Green was able to use his legs. Obviously got hurt, and the backup came in and was able to do the job, and they ended up winning. But to me, this is another Arkansas spot. I'm going to keep backing this team, man. It feels like nobody's sold on this team, and Taylor Green's going to be back and fully ready to go. And to me, this line is telling to Arkansas. I'm pretty sure it opened at 3.5. It's down to 2.5. Past that key number. I just love this. I've been saying it all year. I love this Arkansas team, and it's a perfect spot to back them. I mean, LSU in that OT win against Ole Miss. I mean, that's a tough game to just bounce back and play Arkansas, especially with Arkansas coming with a little bit more rest. So I like it, man. Off a bye, they should be ready to go for LSU, especially Taylor Green. I heard Taylor Green was game time decision. He's playing, bro. This line tells me he's playing. They wouldn't be plus 2.5 to LSU if Taylor Green wasn't playing. And off a bye, he's ready to go. I wouldn't be too worried about that. But Steak, do you have similar thoughts, or what are you thinking?
I have similar thoughts. I liked Arkansas a lot. I do see they're a pretty trendy pick amongst guys like us. But with that being said, and I haven't really heard this narrative, but LSU, man, I watched every second of the Ole Miss game last week. Awesome game. You could tell because they were in Death Valley, I feel like there were situations where LSU could have been out of that game, and they just stayed in it, went to overtime, and then won the game. I don't think it's the same team on the road.
No.
I think it's going to be the same team on the road, and that's why I do lean Arkansas here. You know, I'm kind of with you. I've liked Arkansas all year. I mean, we fucking called them as a live dog against Tennessee, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I like Arkansas. I don't think they get as much respect. Now they finally are. Like, this is the first game where I've seen Arkansas get line respect. Am I a little nervous? Yes. But nervously, I'm going to bet Arkansas.
Yep, I agree. I agree with you, man. Agree with everything you said. I think Arkansas is just a team that's undervalued in terms of like expectations previous to the season. I mean, nobody thought Arkansas was this type of team that they're performing at the level they are. So it's interesting. Nuss going for 350. Well, and it's funny, Steak, you bring up them being in Death Valley. You weren't on stream on Saturday, but I brought it up. A stat under the Brian Kelly era, LSU is 17-1 in night games in Death Valley versus SEC.
I see why now. Bro,
Yeah.
that shit was insane.
It's a different
Everybody
kind of
was there.
environment.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And that's honestly what scared me from putting it on my card. I ended up playing LSU plus 3.5, but seeing that trend, I thought everyone would be all over LSU, but Ole Miss was still, I guess, kind of trendy. But yeah, I love this Arkansas team. I'm so down to back them in this spot.
Sorry, I was getting my card out. Chat, please drop a like. No, but I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you guys on this one. It's just tough, man. Like LSU's actually looked good, but I think you're right with Arkansas. Like, they just find a way to stay in these games.
I think Taylor Green is a guy with a chip on his shoulder. Coming
Dude,
from
even the
Boise.
backup was solid when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Also, one question: neutral field, LSU, Tennessee. What's the line?
Wow.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Is it anywhere near a pick'em?
That's a good question. I don't know what they placed that game at. Probably,
Damn.
I'd probably say Tennessee minus. I don't
Appreciate
know.
you, bro.
I would say minus 2.5.
Tennessee?
Yeah,
Okay.
3.
I just thought it was interesting. Arkansas beat plus 2.5 against LSU. I know they're at home, and then 13 or whatever it was against Tennessee. And I know they were on the road, but I still find the disparity of those two lines to be very noteworthy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. It's a good question. It's chat. What would you guys think? Tennessee minus 1.5,
They
minus
seem
2.
to agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, I agree.
I'm assuming.
Thank you for
nobody
the
has
sub,
anything
Zach.
here. Yo, thank you for the sub, buddy. Appreciate you, dude.
5 months, baby.
Got
So-
nothing.
I think he's a Tennessee fan, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Georgia, Texas, man. Georgia getting 5 points now, I think, right? Is it still at flat 5?
Yeah.
Let me double check. Yeah. Oh, it's at 4.5 some places still. I mean, Texas is a real deal. For me, Texas is my my natty winner this year. Personally, I think they got everything you need to win a championship, especially with Alabama and Georgia kind of, I would say, taking a step back from last year. But what are you guys' thoughts on this game? I don't have any kind of strong leans either side. I do think it's the first thing that I think of is, wow, this is a lot of points for Texas to be laying against Georgia, regardless of how bad Georgia has been against the spread. Haven't covered in 5 games. It's interesting. What do you guys think? Is this kind of like a square up and take Georgia with the value, or is to me
Honestly,
there's a lot of respect for Texas, and I think the real deal this year.
I want to say don't hate me, but I kind of think that's the consensus is Texas is just so far above everybody, which
Does the
sounds
Texas
crazy.
Alabama MLP really hit? Does that hit?
I listened to, because I didn't have much time to lab during the week, so I was kind of listening to like these previews and stuff, and the whole consensus is just Texas best overall team by a mile. Like they're that team this year, and they are, right? They really are. To me, it almost makes you want to play Georgia, but I really don't want to get involved by fading Texas. So I'm going to sit this one out. That's just the one devil's advocate, because I feel like your read is like, holy fuck, right? 4.5 versus Georgia is pretty telling.
For sure.
Yeah.
You guys want me to try to sell you on something?
Yes. Everyone's like, yeah.
Please.
This is awesome. They're awesome. I got nothing bad to say about Texas whatsoever. I'm not going to say anything bad about Texas in this sell job, except they're not really playing very good offenses. And when you're as good as Texas is and you don't play very good offenses, you just don't have to put up as many points as you're capable of. Well, what have we seen Georgia do in a big game? Get shellacked by Alabama in the first half and come storming fucking back. And any way you slice it, think whatever you want to think about Georgia. You know, with the weapons they have, that even if you're up 28-7, they could come back on you, which makes me think Texas knows for the first game of the year, they're going to have to put up 30 to win. And I do think Texas has to put up 30 to win this game, maybe even a few more. I like the over. If it's square, I'm strictly using my football brain here. I have no idea I haven't looked at the splits. I haven't looked if the fades are on fucking the over. I don't care. I think you're going to get, if you like Texas, it's not, look how they played Oklahoma last week. They knew that motherfucker, Michael Hawkins, wasn't going to do shit. I feel like for the first 2 quarters, Texas was playing on like varsity level. They didn't turn it up to All-American until like the 3rd quarter. And that's everybody they played this year. It's not like that when you're playing Georgia. And I think you're going to get Texas offense from the jump. And honestly, I think you're going to get a lot of offense on Georgia's side of the ball. So, yeah, I'm going over. I really, really like it.
Yeah, it could be cheeky enough to just take Georgia team total over with. I mean, you look at Texas. I mean, they haven't allowed more than 13 points all year. I know they haven't played, to your point, any really strong offenses like a Georgia. But you're right. I would have to lean points, and I think Georgia team total might be the way to go about it.
This is a good point too. I mean, how many people are out on this dude?
That's probably how I'm gonna.
I don't know, man. I don't know because that second half of the Alabama game was so.
Yeah, it's fair. I think it's just us. We kind of shit on him weekly, honestly. I think that's mostly what it. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I think the reason Carson Beck doesn't get the support like other quarterbacks does is because he's not flashy like these other. He's not as fun to watch.
I think it's because he's handed a dream roster and he's just not like, what's his
name?
No.
You can say that for Nico. You can say for Jalen Miller.
Not really, bro. Georgia is far above.
But isn't being quarterback of Georgia kind of like being quarterback of the Niners?
Yeah,
that's what I was just gonna say.
You're never gonna get the credit.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my point was, look how good Stetson Bennett. Sure, he was older, but like he made he wasn't flashy, but he did everything he had to.
Sure. Yeah, and Carson Beck is significantly more talented than Stetson Bennett.
True.
Exactly.
True.
Granted, I mean, you could say age is a factor, right? When you're older, it gets easier, but I agree. Like, Beck's way more talented, but Bennett was way more effective.
Yeah.
At this point, at least.
Cool. Anything else? Well, otherwise, we'll move on. I might have to back you on that over in some fashion, either Georgia TT or the full.
No.
UCF, Iowa State. Anything here? Steak? It's kind of your 2 favorite teams.
I'm so done with UCF, dude. I don't even want to look at
it. I agree. I have nothing in this one.
Pat Stafford, man. I will say, though, seeing Iowa State at 9 is kind of cool. Like, that's a team that just – that's a school that's just like – yeah, it's like they're not – like, nobody thinks of them as, like, a powerhouse, but I feel like they're kind of becoming, like – because they're nasty in basketball, right? Like, we all love backing them in basketball, but it's cool to see them in football, too, I guess.
I saw that UCF is starting that Ja'Cory Harris kid from Miami. That's worth mentioning, but like I said, I think everyone should stay off that game.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Iowa State, they're another one that's tough to read, in my opinion.
All right, Kansas State, West Virginia. I mean, this is one of my favorite dogs of the day. I love the Mountaineers here. I think Garrett Green is an awesome quarterback. I think this team is finally starting to figure it out. I got burned on them last week, and I'm going to go back to them today. One past that key number, 3.5 to 2.5. And Kansas State is honestly a team that, if we're talking about ranked teams right now, it's one of the teams I'm lower on in terms of the top 25. So I think this is a great opportunity to back West Virginia at home after not a bad loss, but a competitive loss to Iowa State, a really good team. They're proving to be so. Kansas State coming off wins against OK State, who's nothing to really talk about, and a win against Colorado, which is back and forth and electric, which I think a lot of people watched. So I'm all over West Virginia in this spot. Iowa State, TT all over. Okay, this guy's on a different game. WV TT over mini ladder. I mean, I don't hate it. I just like them to win the game and cover personally. And Kansas State's been phenomenal as of lately. So I think it's a good spot. Steak?
I love West Virginia today, but going into the year, obviously I'm a Kansas State backer. I had them over 9 wins and to win the Big 12, which is obviously still possible, but obviously going into the season, what I thought would be good was I thought Avery Johnson would be more dual threat, and he's not as good of a passer as I thought he was going to be. Maybe he will be eventually. Just right now, he's inconsistent. He makes plays, but he's inconsistent as a passer. He's good with his legs. I thought the defense would be a lot better than it is. And that's where they've disappointed me. I do think this is a smash spot for West Virginia. I think it lines up perfectly for them to win this game and Kansas State to have a letdown. I I punched in West Virginia.
And if we're talking about like matchup wise, like football reasoning, like Kansas State, if they go down early, they're a tough team to come back with a large margin, especially against a team like West Virginia who scores in bunches on quick explosive plays. So I think West Virginia could get out to an early lead, and Kansas State will have some struggles to catch up. So that's my read. Royal, anything?
No, I'm with you. I was in the bathroom, but I kind of think this is, as we've kind of been saying, right? Like West Virginia had all that hype, as you mentioned, good QB, great offense. I think they're kind of figuring it out. And I think I just echo what you guys said, but just to add on to it, I think this is them figuring it out. As you mentioned, Green he's a weapon. He can run, he can throw. They got good, skill players. So no, I'm with you guys.
Cool. Awesome.
I think money, is this the uniform bet or not uniform bet, but I think they're wearing like those black unis.
Gold Rush was last week, yeah.
Oh, it was last week. Okay.
The black unis, yeah.
Yeah, they were
That
fire.
was last week. We should have known that bet wasn't hitting as soon as they put the jerseys on.
Oh shit.
What?
It's supposed to be rainy and stormy.
In West Virginia? Money's in the tailgate somewhere. He doesn't care. Rain or shine, he'll be drinking Coors Light. Iowa, Michigan State. So I ended up, I'm close to getting to the counter. Right now I have a ticket with Michigan State, but I'm thinking about cashing out just because of the look ahead to Michigan. I'm a little concerned. But I kind of wanted to fade Iowa off that somewhat of a big win, I can say, where they looked just dominant. Michigan State's just tough. I feel like they're a team that's going to be sharp in a lot of spots this year. But please talk me off the ledge. Like, I'm considering cashing out, but I think it could be a sneaky, really uncomfortable spot for Michigan State.
It's so tough. I mean, they've looked bad, but again, it's versus pretty good teams, right? And like you mentioned, Iowa's coming off I think, very good fucking win versus Washington. But it's like football brain, we always kind of bring that up. Like, I just don't see them competing here with Iowa, but I agree with you. It's just not a good spot for Iowa. So my mind's in a blender on this one.
Dumbbell theory too. I mean, coming off games versus Ohio State and Oregon, I mean, it's similar to the read of previous of what was it? What game were we talking about? Coming off Baylor, coming off all that good competition. So I think it's a sneaky spot for Michigan. It's not like a very confident side, and it's definitely uncomfortable, but Michigan State might win outright. Is anybody concerned of that look ahead to Michigan? Like, that's pretty much the only thing kind of holding me off. Should I be concerned?
I don't have a strong read. I'll be honest with you. I think this morning I leaned to Iowa. But man, I don't have a strong read. I'm like battling, thinking that getting Michigan +6 or whatever it is in a game with this low of a total feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Iowa just is coming off their best win of the season, and it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. I don't know that I would be back in Michigan State. I'll say that.
Yeah, I had the same read with you, Stig. I kind of just think Iowa just takes care of business, and again, they don't have to put up. They don't have to put up 40 again, right? Like, they could win by a touchdown. Like, this could be an ugly, low-scoring game, and they can win 17-7. Like, it could be that low scoring and that gross, and they can still cover.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That was kind of my thought. But then again, it's like, do I want to play? Yeah, do I want to play that? No, they just put up 40, and when does Iowa put up 40? Against a good team, at least, you should say.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. It's almost like people see the Iowa game last week as more of like a fluke than thinking they could do that again.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
One thing to note versus Michigan State is that game versus Oregon, we all had that over. That should have been a fucking smackdown. Like, that box score.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they should have lost by 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
True. All right. What's on deck here? Kentucky, Florida.
Oh, God. I forgot about this game. Fuck. I already tweeted the card.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking Kentucky. I haven't taken it yet. Steak, I feel like it's only right that you go first in this game.
Yeah.
You seem to know the Gators pretty well.
Yeah. So Graham Mertz tore his ACL. So I guess you could say this play is me fading bad news, depending on how you feel about Graham Mertz. DJ Lagway came in. I think his first pass, he threw it out of his own end zone, and it was one of the worst interceptions you'll ever see for a Tennessee player. And then he didn't do a whole lot after that. There's a couple good throws, but he didn't look great. I have a lot of respect for this Kentucky defense, with the exception of the shitty fucking South Carolina game. I thought they were impressive against Georgia. And who did they beat outright? Oh no, they beat Ole Miss outright, and that was a very impressive defensive effort too. And then obviously the Vandy game, call it whatever you want. Kind of Vandy just keeps surprising. But yeah, I don't think DJ Lagway in his first start as the guy matches up well on homecoming against this Kentucky defense, which I kind of think probably is going to have his number all day.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I think it's a good spot. I mean, I think a lot of people were on Kentucky last week trying to fade that Vanderbilt win versus Bama, and it feels like nobody's going to really want to go back to Kentucky, especially after how competitive Florida looked last week. So that's kind of my read on Kentucky. But you're right. I didn't really kind of add into the whole quarterback being out, bad news kind of situation. So that does kind of scare me, playing devil's advocate with myself. But we'll see if I get to the counter. Nothing strong lean, but we'll see. Royal, anything else?
No, I mean, yeah, it's Kentucky or nothing for me. Just how bad they looked. I think Steak hit it on the pretty accurately. Fresh young QB that hasn't had much experience against a really, really good defense.
It's tough.
Probably a pretty cute home dog the way they've been playing. So it's Kentucky.
The only thing I'll add is there's definitely people who don't see this as bad news either, because DJ Lagway's a 5-star recruit. He's Billy Napier's guy, so everyone's saying, "Oh, Billy Napier's going to get fired." I'm hearing, DJ Lagway is going to transfer to Miami to take over after Cam Ward. So there's probably people who actually think this is good news for the Florida Gators.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, nobody thinks Graham Mertz is
a star,
maker, if you will. Sure. Yeah. So, and this guy again, like you said, flashy 5-star, right? Like,
yep.
Everyone's going to want him over what is Graham Mertz, senior, right? Like, I mean.
Yeah, or a redshirt junior, whatever it is. He was
whatever you want to call it.
Cool.
About the over. It's a tough game to read. Yeah,
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get behind that, but
you just don't know what you have in Lagway, really, in my opinion. Because, he's great on paper, but
anything here?
Nope. Don't
Stanford fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Late night beef.
Beef leave?
Might be beef leave later. Are we buying into this UNLV hype? Are you guys thinking this team is going to be an actual force? I'm somewhat thinking that this might be a good spot to fade them. It could be a huge letdown spot late night, especially with Oregon State. I don't know. I doubt anyone watched that Nevada game, but Nevada just keeps finding ways to win and cover. So I feel like it's a good spot for Oregon State. It's nothing strong, but I definitely lean Oregon State in this game. I feel like it's the late night beef or nothing, personally, for me.
I'm a UNLV slurper, but I agree this is a pretty bad spot, I think.
Agreed. Royal, did you look at this game at all?
Not really, honestly. Like, UNLV is just they're a red hot train. Like, it's tough to fade them.
Forgot about this, McKiffin. I forgot. This game's going to be sick. I don't care what anybody says. UNLV Boise is going to be a sick fucking game.
Damn.
Oh, I apologize. I forgot they lost to Syracuse. I apologize there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's going to be a
legend.
Though. All right. This next one here. TCU, Houston. Anything here, boys?
Utah. But yeah, I'll go. I love Utah here.
I saw this. I saw this right here.
Yeah.
I thought it was Houston.
It does look like Houston.
I actually have a play
the same thing last night. No, but I love Utah here. I don't think TCU is that good. Their offense is pretty solid, sure, but their defense is fucking terrible. To me, I love back in Utah, especially in spots like this. Coming off 2 pretty bad losses to Arizona State, Arizona. And I don't know who's playing at QB, but how bad did fucking Cam Rising look? He looked terrible. To me, it doesn't matter who's playing QB. I think they're going to win this game. I think this defense just kind of shuts down TCU, and to me, this total is pretty telling. TCU has had countless games near high 50s and 60s. I think they kind of run into brick wall here, and I
Let me
get
sell
it.
you on something here, dude. Let me sell you. I don't know about the whole brick
Real
wall for
quick.
Utah, dude. I don't know.
Real quick, I
think a
know
lot
they're
of
coming
points
off a
get
bad
scored.
loss to Houston, but to me, it doesn't matter. I think it's a brutal spot for them in Utah. Maybe I'm a little biased just because I like Utah's program and culture and everything, but I think this is a great spot for Utah, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the backup quarterback isn't any slouch. Isaac Wilson, he saw a little bit of time in that game that Cam Rising got hurt. Forgetting which game that was, but he actually looked awesome.
Well, I was gonna say we all took them versus Oklahoma State, and he was more than fine.
Well, Cam Rising was playing in that game. That was the first game Cam Rising was back.
Oklahoma State?
When we took Utah, yeah. Am I wrong?
Was it Arizona then?
That
I don't
yeah.
No,
remember
I think it was
specifically.
Oklahoma State.
Well, we've taken Utah a few times this year.
That's what I'm saying. But the backup played the whole game, and like I said, he was good.
Yes, there's
Yeah, it was Oklahoma State.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I like him. I mean, that's a good guy to back. And, I mean, if you look at
Right.
Utah's offense, I mean, it's a nice buy low spot. They're coming off 19-10 and a 22 win versus OK State. So, getting 23.5 versus TCU defense that we already know has some issues.
Terrible.
That I'm gonna back this guy. I think he's actually the real deal. I think he's better than Cam Rising, which is something that a lot of people don't talk about. So, Cam Rising should be selling cars.
Hey,
I would tend
dude,
to.
real quick. I was gonna say I always wondered. I think I might have touched on this before, but it's like, why is this motherfucker still playing? Right? It's NIL. Like he's getting paid anyway.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Honestly, man, I have a theory that falls in line with not a theory, but I have a thought that falls in line with your guys' thoughts. This Cam Rising thing has been hanging over this team now for like a really long time. Is he injured? Is he not injured? And they peaked so long ago. Like the peak was the Rose Bowl against Ohio State, and that shit feels like 4 years ago. Is that 4 years ago or something? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Had that year, and every year it's Cam Rising's back. Utah's a championship contender, and he's always banged up, and it's always a game time decision going into the game. It's like, how exhausting is it if you play for Utah to deal with this shit every week? And then you got Isaac Wilson, and he's decent.
Mhm.
Just let the fucking kid play. Cam Rising is 40. Like you have to just wrap it up. So I hope the Cam Rising story's over. No disrespect. I'm just tired of it. But I think it's Wilson. If it is Wilson, I really like Utah.
Yeah, it 100% is. I'm almost not 100% positive it'll be Wilson out there starting today. So I like everything you said. I think it's Utah, no brainer here. TCU is just a team that I can't back in any situation, and we get Utah in somewhat of a buy low. So
I think people are inclined to back TCU because that terrible loss versus fucking Houston. And again, it could be right. Like we could be getting duped here, but I don't think so. I think this is a difference in programs. I think Utah has the much better culture, and I just think TCU struggles where Utah doesn't.
I agree. I like Steak's angle too when it comes to kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like a weight was lifted off their shoulders with all this bullshit going on.
Yeah. I mean, how bad did he look last week? I know
Probably
he got different
horrible.
injury, but like, yeah, it's just
Probably gets tiring being on a Utah football team, and all everyone talks about when they're talking about your team is if Cam Rising is playing or something about him. So I totally get that. Is that the last game on the board? It is. I do have.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say there's another spot I wanted to bring up too.
Yeah, which I'll bring it up.
Did you guys look at San Jose State?
No.
Do they play Wyoming?
They do.
Oh God. Oh God. What?
And I love fading Wyoming. Let me tell you. I didn't get to the table, but San Jose State off a loss, Colorado State. I mean, Wyoming. They just let me pull it back up.
It's really as simple as you're fading Wyoming. That's all you gotta say.
31 versus Air
last
Force.
week.
Yeah, 31 versus Air Force and 24 versus a rat shit San Diego State team. I mean, this team fucking sucks. Maybe people think they're figuring it out, hitting their stride. They're fucking terrible. San Jose State's pretty decent. I kind of think they just roll, but I didn't get to the table just because it's just a kind of gross game, to be honest with you. But I want to see if you guys looked into it at all.
Fuck no, dude. That's disgusting. But I'm rooting for you for sure. You should.
I didn't take
get to
it.
the table.
I didn't take
You
it.
should do it. You should take it.
I know I'm gonna check at like 8 p.m. San Jose State's up like 30 to 31 to 3 or some bullshit.
It's very possible. Wyoming's like one of the worst teams.
Terrible.
They're so bad.
Bro, the game I wanted to talk about was Charlotte Navy. Steak, I'm surprised Charlotte's not on your card, dude.
Navy look ahead.
Navy look ahead to Mich. Nah.
I mean,
To Notre Dame. Come on, man.
yeah. I mean, it's real. I think that one's real. What a fucking huge game for Navy.
Huge. It's got to be Charlotte. Just as simple as that. No.
Yeah. God, what did Charlotte do last week? Did they play last week?
Oh, I think they might be off a bye. I'm gonna look really quick. Yeah, they're off a bye. Last game was against ECU where they throttled them as 9.5 point dogs.
And what's the spread here in this one?
16.5.
Oof. It's been hard fading Navy and Army this year.
It's been impossible.
Yeah,
It's been impossible to fade him.
I don't know. It might be a sit back and enjoy the show type of game.
Yeah, I kind of want to roll in the deep and take Charlotte and feel like a genius or a complete idiot after Navy puts up a 50 spot. But yeah, definitely just
money line.
Yeah,
Not going that far.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. The shipment might come after me if I do that, dude.
Yeah.
Isn't it awesome how good the military schools are this year?
Pretty fun.
Very, very cool.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, they've been covering like crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of that, like the Army Navy game should be fucking crazy.
Oh, dude.
How good those two teams are.
Notre Dame plays both of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Is that usual?
Honestly, I don't think
I
so.
don't know. Yeah, I think it is.
Is it?
Every season?
Oh, yeah, because they don't have a fucking conference.
Yeah.
Right, the independent.
Army is the real deal, dude. Army is the real deal.
Finally, they're not running fucking triple option anymore.
Charlotte moneyline sprinkle. Got balls, sir.
Dude, the triple option's so funny. I played against that in college. Our rival school runs that. It fucking sucks playing on defense, man. It's
awful.
Brutal. It's brutal.
Royal
The worst part is it's the fucking linemen. It's such a mosh pit that the refs can't see shit. They just literally tackle and grab your feet. Like their assignment is to just dive forward for the most part.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Chat, who do you guys got? Oklahoma drill, Steak versus Royal.
Oh, dude, I'm not even no. I used to be 230 back
Hey,
when I played.
Dude, you played college football, so I feel like you got to be mentioned. I know I got you outsized, but
That's what I'm saying.
No, I was
Royal
40.
might have
No,
the
I'm getting
technique.
my ass trucked. I'm not gonna lie.
Royal might
just
have the
didn't-
technique. You get low. I don't know.
I
Guys,
played
a good
zero
life
college
lessons
sports.
here. yeah, exactly. Yeah, guys, a good life lesson here.
Royal might turn
Sometimes
into
you
AD.
can't be delusional, guys. Sometimes you just gotta admit when you're outnumbered. And to me, that's like
Holy shit,
Devontae
dude.
Smith going against Derrick Henry for an analogy for you guys. That's how I see that playing out.
That's hilarious, dude. That's very funny. I'm more like a Mike Allstott, though. I can't be there.
Yeah, that's
a good
all right. Fair
comparison.
enough. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, that's even worse, honestly.
Hit the A gap with the neck roll on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, guy. Like sometimes you just like you just gotta admit when you're fucked. That's what it is.
Steak might look
Hey,
like
a couple more shots of tequila at T squared, and we might have tried it.
Yeah, I would have ran out
Yeah.
the door.
I don't think there's any imagine there was a simulator for an Oklahoma drill. Just fucking run into the screen.
Man.
All right, let's
No, I'm
craft
good on
just
that
a ramble pod, and then we can kind of call it. Chat, what was your favorite play from today's stream? Appreciate everyone staying the whole time, too, on this fine Saturday. I'm going to get my card out as well.
Kind of shocked on that.
Dude,
Yeah, facts, bro.
Right here.
What was like a consensus play that we all liked today? That was
About to see
maybe-
me with AB and Le'Veon.
maybe a little sneaky.
Rutgers, Arkansas, over in Texas. Nah, T-Rain, don't gas me up there. Nah,
That's funny.
Bama.
Bama, Arkansas, Rutgers, UG. Oh, they like the UGA Texas over. Okay. I didn't think anybody was gonna like that shit.
Down for
Anything Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter.
We'll say props in college are much different. So I love it, don't get me wrong, but as a pod,
The market's pretty nice, honestly.
Milrow Rusher.
We're
about to Yeah, no. That would be no. I would not get that
That's absurd.
praise from that.
An absurd comment. Milrow rush yards. Steak turned into Monda's perfect.
I was just saying, again, no. Unless he's saying he's gonna like perfect destroyed AB. Granted, it was a cheap shot if that's where he's getting at, but
Yeah, that's exactly what he's getting at.
oh, that's what I was gonna say because he definitely has fucking CTE himself.
Oh, 100,000%.
Yeah, guy was a scumbag, man.
All right, what are we liking? What are we liking for the pod? What are we doing? Side or a total? Just
You
one?
guys seem to absolutely love West Virginia.
I was gonna say that'd probably be my pick, MJ.
I'm down.
Ramble
Done.
Pod.
That
Ramble Pod WVU. Ride with the Mountaineers and Shitty Steve. We got to get a picture of Shitty Steve at the tailgate for the picture. That would be perfect. Cool.
no.
All right. I want to see a little roll call in chat. Drop a W for steak. Drop a test tube. I want to see everyone who's in here late night. I'll give out some subs to some of y'all. Or not late night. Late stream. Let me give some out real quick.
Actually, real quick, I want to get that underdog late too.
Oh, sure. We'll start off with Milrow rush yards, right?
No, we can't do that, unfortunately.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about the when I hit that like Western Kentucky or Arkansas State one, like 3 underdogs.
Oh, 3 underdogs. Baylor.
Baylor,
West
Charlotte?
Virginia.
I'm looking at Charlotte staring me in the face. How gross do you want to get, Royal?
Well, you got to juice it up. With
Extremely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baylor, West Virginia ain't doing much. I'm talking like a $5-10 type play, like I did.
And throw Charlotte in there.
If you threw Charlotte in there, it makes it kind of nasty, right?
Yeah, and then maybe Arkansas.
Dude, I had ULM in there. I need that big one.
Baylor, WV, Arkansas. Yeah, those are my favorite dogs. I got them all in my card.
Yep, I like all those 24.
Oh, faded Navy. Fuck.
Do I put Charlotte or Kentucky on my card? Boys, make the decision for me.
I'll go ahead and say Kentucky.
All right. Cool.
Baylor.
I think I'm good to go. Let's wrap up stream. Steak, thank you so much for coming on as always every Saturday. You're a fucking goat, man. These streams are awesome because of you. You have a huge impact on it, bro.
All right. Baylor, WVU, Charlotte.
All right.
Plus
Take care, Steak. We'll talk, all right? Good luck today.
See you, brother.
W, man. What'd you say, Royal? Sorry.
Baylor, West Virginia, Charlotte, 10 wins, 360. Just a small sprinkle.
Charlotte's going to sell that, but
most likely.
Yeah.
Most likely.
WVU
Again,
is, yeah, dude, they are. You're right.
If ULM could do it, Charlotte can do it.
CBB coming soon, MJ. Yeah, bro. It's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm actually really hyped for that because I got into it like halfway last year.
My goal is to be better than Jeff this year, so I can rub it in his face. That's my goal.
Oh, Jeff.
That's my motivation. I'm just gonna craft my card up. If you want to just bring up chat comments and shit.
I'm looking at one.
Charlotte not selling, so I'm adding him. I keep him on my card.
I wanted to take Milrow touchdown, but god fucking damn, it's at minus 210. I didn't think it would be that much, this one.
Tag staking this. What's everyone's favorite play today?
That's a tough one, Cornelius. I can't get a read on Louisville, I'm going to be honest. I like Miami to score. I like Miami to cover and win. And I do have a Cam Ward Heisman ticket, but I promise it's not biased. I love taking these spots where they should have lost the last 2 games, or arguably, whatever you want to call it, and they just haven't looked great. Sure, they've been scoring a lot, but what are they, number 5? Number 9? Miami? Like they don't look like a top team in the country at this point, is my point. They don't look like a top
everyone's
team.
Waiting for them to
lose, exactly. And I think people think this is the spot because it's a big ACC matchup and Louisville is solid. I think this is Cam
Louisville
Ward
just
puts
seems
Miami
to be
back
that
on
like
the map.
bettor's darling. It seems like all the short bettors love Louisville. Just seems like
It seems like they're always in good spots to back them, like that Notre Dame one.
Well, at least the last few weeks, yeah.
Was that one?
The last few weeks for sure. SMU was the spot where a lot of people got burned.
Dude, big fella, that game was nuts. If you faded BYU though, that was you, brother. You can't fade BYU right now.
Yeah, Miami hasn't covered last 2 games. I bet they cover -5.
Oh, McKiffin. Dude, go with your gut. We always preach that. If you like Louisville, play it. I'm no
Yeah.
expert in CFB. I'm no expert gambler. That's just my read and my take. It's fine if we go head to head. If you like Louisville, by all means, play it, dude. Like my read could be dead wrong.
We lose bets too.
Yeah. So
Like,
I would
we
say,
have hot streaks, we have cold streaks, just like any normal better.
yeah, I would say just take it, bro. Don't let me talk you off stuff.
I feel good about my plays today.
Damn, that's a sick hit, car keys.
What?
Plus 400 live.
That's insane.
That's fair enough. If your head wasn't in it, it's fair enough. Rolo, it was Rutgers, Wisconsin. Is it Wake or UCF? I always get them confused. Whoever's playing UConn. There's one more. Indiana.
Oh, the first half lie?
Yeah. Won't trip even if they cover. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just reading it again. This is the game that Cam Ward and Miami kind of put themselves back into that picture.
I'm telling you on that Milrow play, by the way.
Yeah, if he gets sacked, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Just leave it at that. Why is that a thing, by the way? Is there like a good reasoning for that?
What? If they get
How
sacked?
sack is negative rush yards? Like, that's crazy to me.
It's stupid, but I guess it is what it is.
Dude, Kyle, I'm going to be interested to see that game because I really like him. But that Florida team just feels fucking dead. You know what I'm saying? They have like a sitting, what do they call it? A lame duck head coach. They got nothing to play for, really. I like Lagway, though. That was a good nugget that Steak brought up. Is that a popular narrative that Lagway is going to replace Cam Ward next year in Miami?
Everyone thinks Lagway is just far beyond better
than Ward or Mertz.
Mertz.
Oh yeah, well it's because you know what you have with Mertz. He's not anything special. Lagway has that.
He's the flashy 5-star guy. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying is he actually rumored to transfer to Miami? That'd be pretty sick, honestly.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kyle. That's a great point, actually. Shut up, big fella. Could you imagine being him, man? You just get to be on an NBA team because your brother. Like, he fucking sucks.
Need a cash out.
Portal.
Need a cash out of Georgia Tech.
Florida State fucking suck. Yeah, that's a great point, man. Do college coaches typically get fired during the year? I feel like they really don't. Like mid-season, I should say.
Not as much as the NFL if you're comparing.
Yeah. Mid-season, I should have said.
I'm hungry, man.
Yep. Side note, how fucking awesome has this Guardians-Yankees series been? I mean, these games are insane to watch. Playoff baseball, I usually kind of think it's like slow-paced and boring. These games have been crazy. Have you seen any of them?
Which one?
Yankees Guardians. Like these have been some of the best. Like Game 3 was even though the Yankees lost, huge Yankees fan, but that game was fucking awesome to watch.
Sorry, I'm just getting my card out.
Dude, no, like low key AZ MLB playoffs has been insane. Big Christmas, man. A guy actually looks like Barry Bonds right now. He just pulls foul balls like 500 feet. Yeah, dude, Stanton. Honestly, it sounds like you're a Yankees fan, Devin. I'm so fine with fucking Stanton sucking during the regular season if he's going to do this every postseason. I'm so fine with it because we all know how Judge is, although he's been picking it up. But big Christmas homer. Yeah, dude, that guy it's kind of terrifying right now. I'm not going to lie. Every at bat, he just pulls a foul ball 500 feet, or he homers. Like it's crazy. And it's always in the bottom of the ninth too, or top 9. Like it's always these huge moments. It's crazy.
What you getting into tonight?
Probably nothing. Honestly, I'm pretty tapped. I went out during the week a lot, which I never do.
I'm pretty tapped.
Subway Series, dude, I want that so bad. Although it feels like it's Yankees Dodgers, to be honest. They all want the Judge and Shohei and Soto and Mookie. What about Michigan under 44? I have no read on that game, honestly. Like I have a small lean on Illinois, but I'm not gonna play it because of the line. I'm not gonna take Michigan because of a line either. In total, I mean, it screams under, yeah.
You're taking Michigan, bro. Let's be real.
I'm not taking Michigan.
Dick.
They're just not good. And again, yeah, I know that's the general consensus on them too, which is, again, kind of scares me off Illinois. That's my thoughts as well, Cornelius. They actually have a quarterback and an offense.
Looking for a dope-ass pick.
Is Orgy still starting?
Yeah. Pretty positive.
Exactly, Caleb. That was my point, though. Like that, I mean, they can just break a run at any point, which we saw at USC. Like that game was fucking ugly. They made plays when they needed it.
I got a good pick. All right, I'm posting my card. Go like that shit.
Chat, go like our cards. Thank you.
Jeez.
Illinois doesn't have a great run defense, but I refuse to bet another Michigan game. Yeah, it's fair. Their run defense is solid, though. No?
I'll do it for you. Don't worry. I got you. That's hot. I'm sweeping.
Someone's fucking bumping music right now in my apartment.
Oh, I'm sweeping, man. Oh. Have you ever had Fruity Pebbles with the marshmallows? Yes. I don't know if you ever peeped.
Haven't had Fruity Pebbles in years, to be honest. It sucks.
Boys, appreciate you guys. We will talk soon. You're going to be around for tomorrow's stream, Mo?
That True Planners? Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. That'd be interesting to see.
What?
He said they're starting their third string QB.
Are they? Don't care. QB has nothing to do with the read, honestly.
77th isn't that terrible when you think of how many teams are there. I see what you're saying, though. I guess for a top 25 team, though, you think it'd be better.
Toledo down to 3 or 2.5.
My point was, it's not. They're not a doormat. Yeah, exactly. B really like Toledo, by the way.
Really?
That's what you're looking at. Yeah.
Mad at you.
All right, chat. Thanks for popping out. Boys are hungry. Gonna watch some games. Good stream tomorrow. Pretty solid NFL slate. But guys, the next few months are going to be electric. We said it last stream when MJ wasn't here. NBA Tuesday and every day moving forward. College in 2 weeks? You still got college football. You still got NFL. I mean, buckle up, because holy fuck. I'm going to be hating my life, grinding away. Or not hating my life, you know what I mean. We're going to be going through it, but we're going to find winners, and we're going to fucking...
We're about to be full-time streamers, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all better show love. We're about to stream fucking 6-7 days a week.
It's going to be... It's going to be a force, but we're going to love every second.
Yeah.
Just like last year.
Bro, we'll talk soon, brother. Ciao, Bella.